Dispensary and Mercantile offers the most high-quality products you'll find anywhere in Montana. The local only carries products that are created by local businesses or owners of the store. The Missoula-born and raised owners want to ensure a relaxed atmosphere with professional service at a customer-friendly price. The service is deli style, so you can smell and see the product before you purchase. The owners are also farmers and have been cultivating green goodness for a combined 34 years. Swing by the local in East Missoula or downtown on the corner of Front and... Drink a beer and support a Grizz athlete. DraftWorks is a longtime favorite of beer enthusiasts across the Treasure State, and DraftWorks has created a sessionable, delicious lager that donates part of every sale to the name, image, and likeness efforts at the University of Montana. Up with Montana Lager is a crisp, effervescent beer that pours pale straw in color and greets you with an inviting malty aroma, and it's crafted with Grizz athletes in mind. If you're headed to the tailgate or stocking up to watch football, give back to the NIL Collective at the University of Montana by drinking Up with Montana Lager, proudly created by DraftWorks Brewing. We get an early start on rivalry week. It seems like it's a special sort of week every week around here. For the last 2 months, it's been either football rivalries or national championships or Super Bowls or basketball rivalries times two, or a football coach retiring like last week. So happy to have an early start here. Jay Flores from Montana men's basketball joining us. And if you haven't heard, rivalry round 2 for the Hoops around the corner in Missoula on Saturday night for the men, 2 p.m. for the women. Jay, appreciate you being here, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. Yeah, this season's flying by. It's hard to believe that we're in the home stretch. It's February.
I was thinking that the other day. You guys only have 6 conference games left until Boise. That's
and
wild.
one of them is a 3-game week. You know what I mean? So it's not like it's pretty crazy.
So let's start there. Then, what do you think of just where your team is at right now, and just in the scope of the league? Because this has been, as always, it's a little bit of a crazy league because of the travel and all the other stuff that goes into it. But this year, if you're just scanning the channels on ESPN Plus, you just turn it to 4 minutes to go in whatever game, and it's a 4 or 6 point game. It doesn't matter what game you turn on. So it seems like it's been really nip and tuck all year, no matter who you're playing.
We actually have like a kind of like a funny, not inside joke, but thing. Like we'll always kind of make predictions as a staff for other games. Like this team is at this place tonight in the conference. Who do you think? And I'm like, well, it's probably gonna be a 4 point game with 4 minutes left, one way or the other. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And you probably actually would know, Colter. I want to say someone maybe last year, the year before, said like we had like the most 1-possession games like out of any conference in the country.
I wrote a whole story about it. There was 10 in the first half of league play last year.
Okay, yeah.
Like NAU won at the buzzer like 4 times. That was 2 years ago, I guess. But
that's what I thought.
They either won or lost at the buzzer like every single weekend of the first half of conference play.
Like it's truly remarkable. And like you get my hairline, I just had a birthday the other day. Like it goes fast because all these games are so close. But what do I make of it? I think it's great for college basketball. Like you have to show up ready to play or you will be beat. And that goes for every single team in the conference. You know what I mean? Like you look, Portland State scraps one out against Sac State the other night. You look at the Cats, it's a layup at the buzzer, right? Like basically every game is like that. And I think it brings the best out of competitors. Like there's been a lot of players across the league that step up in crunch time. And really like you look, there have been teams that have struggled that are now playing better. There are teams that were playing good that are now struggling. A lot of it is like, can you win a close game? Can you manage the game at the end and find a way to scrap it out? So it has been wild. I think that when you watch, we watch all these games as us doing scouts, getting ready for teams, and like some of the finishes have been unbelievable.
When it comes to this, the ability to turn it around, like Thursday, you guys lose a close one at home to Eastern Washington. Saturday, you start slow against Idaho, but then you really took control and closed that game out. So what's the process like of bouncing back when you do lose one that maybe you hope to not? And also then when you start slow, because it seemed like something was ignited and your guys didn't really they want to make sure they weren't going to get swept at home this weekend.
Yeah, well, and you got to give credit to the other teams in the league. Like Eastern came in and played really well. And then, they sweep the Montanas, which is really hard to do. And I think like we couldn't really get anything going on Thursday. And then you start the game on Saturday, and Idaho did a great job. And you kind of just got to get a little bit of juice going. Someone's got to make a shot, and Tyler Thompson stepped up, made a few shots, and we were able to kind of get the monkey off our back a little bit. And then you build some momentum. But the crazy thing is like we were sitting in the locker room after the game against Eastern. And it was 7 days prior, we were at Portland State and played great basketball and won. And we were the only team to win there in the last 15 Big Sky schools or whatever it is. So I think that a little bit of it is just staying the course, like this season with how how much parity there is in the conference. You can't get too high, you can't get too low, and you got to just keep trying to do the right things. And I credit to our guys that we hung in there and we caught a little bit of rhythm and had a great second half.
Join Town Pump's Pump It Up Rewards Plus program and never pay full price for fuel again.
Save 5 cents on every gallon every day at any Town Pump across Montana.
Plus, earn and redeem points on your favorite in-store items to get free stuff with our clubs.
Stop in and pick up a rewards card. Download the Pump It Up Rewards Plus app today.
Or visit townpump.com/rewards to register and start saving.
Right down the road, pump it up, oh yeah.
Cash One Pawn, Missoula's #1 pawn shop.
You want money, we got money. You need money, we got money. We're cash.
Do yourself a favor and make Cash One Pawn part of your online shopping habits. Cash One Pawn has an awesome online inventory, everything from firearms to power tools to speaker equipment to jewelry. Visit Cash One Pawn today.
Cash one pawn.
8720 Roller Coaster Road, CashOnePawn.com.
Jay Flores, Montana men's basketball, joining us here on Nuanez Now 102.9 ESPN Radio, or maybe you're watching our Big Sky Breakdown YouTube channel. Appreciate you tuning in, no matter how you are joining us here. Big picture question for you. How do you manage it all? I mean, you've been in this assistant role now, what, is it 10 years now for you?
It's my 10th year, yeah.
Yeah.
It's my 10th season.
I mean, it's always been a demanding job for a competitive person that has a lot of energy. But now, with all the way that it goes, I mean, you guys are having to re-recruit half your roster every single year, even if you win the Big Sky Championship. It doesn't matter if you get first or last. Like, everybody's going to have 6, 8, 10 guys that move on and go somewhere else. And with all the new rules and the portal timing, and I mean, the fact that we carry computers in our pockets, I mean, it just seems like if you want, it could never end. How do you manage it? Like, how do you manage not going crazy with the access now?
That's a great question. It's hard, just like for you, just like how we were talking a bit ago, like all of this stuff that's happening specifically in the state of Montana sports, like makes you a busy man. I think when you love your job, it makes it easier. You can kind of tackle it. It's actually funny that we're playing the Cats because Coach Payne and I, when Zach Payne was here on staff, we always used to talk about, towards the tail end, how much the spring started to suck. The spring used to be so fun when I first got here because you'd have a lot of returners. You get to focus on development of the guys. And, now that has changed a lot. And I like to think of myself as a younger coach, although maybe I'm not as young anymore, but you kind of just got to lean into it. I think that a lot of people will sit here and complain and, things definitely have changed and it's made it different, but I still think some of the things that make this a great profession are the same in terms of like guys want to feel connected to the program, to the staff, to each other. And regardless if that's for 9 months, for 3 years, for 5 years, some guys 6 years now, that you still pour into them. You still make it about, having them love the name on the jersey on the front as opposed to on the back. So I think that still keeps you going and stuff. Things have gotten crazier. But I got an awesome wife and 2 kids at home that can kind of help me step away from this as much as you possibly can right now. But it definitely has changed. But this has been an awesome place to work, and I'm so grateful for it. And every time I get frustrated or something, I think there's a lot of people that want to have my job. So I'm really happy to be here and being able to take on the challenges that we do.
Well, it's great perspective. Do you have to make like rules for yourself though? Because like you could totally be watching highlights of guys that are in the portal or like whatever. Like you could be recruiting all the time, I'm sure, right? Like there's a text to send at any time in the day or night or whatever. Do you have to like make rules for yourself so you're actually going to spend time with your family?
Yeah, a little bit. I think my 2 kids are getting a little bit older. Like my son is 6, my daughter just turned 5 the other day, and so like they are now able to be around the team more, so you can kind of do things congruently as opposed to try to like separate everything. But there is always something, and I think that's where working for a coach like Coach DeCure, who's been amazing in terms of my family life, my daughter was born in the middle of COVID in 2021 in February. So like things have been crazy. And he's always been really supportive of me. I've been here with Coach Cobb for a long time. And I think like, eventually when you're here long enough, like the people around become family. And so you do have to have times where you step away and protect what is most important, because at the end of the day, this is a game. This is a big game on Saturday, but I'm saying just like our job is a game. Like people show up on Thursdays and Saturdays, and it makes it really fun. Every time I leave the house, my wife always says like, have fun, and it is fun, but there is always something to do. So I do think you got to create some rules. And, there's some times in August and May that you have to, take a breath, so to speak, which I'm sure is the same thing for you, right? Like, and unfortunately you cover every sport. So I don't know if it's as possible for you, but I do think that you have to do that to maintain some sort of sanity.
No question. That's why I go golfing every single day for about 4 weeks in the summer. That's my downtime is in July. Jay Flores joining us here on Nuanez Now 102.9 ESPN Radio. So let's talk about Montana State then. You mentioned, I mean, the standings are jammed up toward the top. You guys are both chasing Portland State, but these two teams are tied in second place right now as we come down the stretch in the Big Sky Conference. So when it is a rivalry game and it also has huge ramifications in the standings, how do you sort of help your guys compartmentalize that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that it's all about the process, right? Like Travis is very process oriented. He's very organized. You try to approach it. If you try to make it something different than another game, and that I say that in the most respectful way possible because they're having a heck of a season, the craziness of the crowd, and we kind of already experienced it over there, can take you out of what you do. So the process, like how we prep for the game, like what we're doing 2 days before, 1 day before, day of, all remains what it always is. And you try to just comes down to execution, right? Like who can have the guys out there on the floor that are executing the game plan, because like things can get crazy. And now make no mistake about it, I'm happy to have 6,000 people cheering for us as opposed to against us. But it really you have to approach it the exact same way. And because we have, 25 or 26, I don't even know what our record is right now overall, but like every other time we've done it, it's got to be the same when you go into however big or small the game you think is,
When it comes to jockeying for position in the conference tournament, has your guys' mentality about that stayed the same or changed? I mean, is it, you obviously you don't want to be playing on the first day. That's the number one goal, right? But other than that, like how do you sort of put in perspective goals? You love hanging banners. I know that part too, right? But how do you sort of organize in your mind just, the seeding elements of this as you come down the stretch?
Yeah, you definitely want to win as many games as you can, just like as any team can. I think, specifically last year, getting the 2 seed and you get a day off, if you're able to win, which will be, the conference tournament this year will be crazy, I'm sure. But if you are able to advance and you get the extra day off and a day to prep, I do think that it can pay off later on in the week if you're able to make it that far. So I think it is important, but, Colter, things have changed so much that like a lot of this is just like, can we continue to get better and try to play our best basketball when the bus arrives in Boise on March, whatever day it is, right? And so, yes, it's important. Yes, we're constantly trying to win as many games as we can, but like this thing is a journey. And last year, I told the guys this the other day, last year taught me that, right? Like we got walloped at Idaho State and we came back and we kind of felt like we were off. And then all of a sudden, boom, we won 10 games in a row. And like, you try to continue to get better and better and better. And so, yes, this is an important game seeding wise. And yes, we're going to try our hardest to be prepared to win the game. But like, can we continue to grow and over the next 3 weeks, make strides to roll into Boise and feel like we have improved from February 8th until March 6th or 7th, whatever day it starts.
Yo, Tara, what up, E?
What's going on? Man, those are some nice medals.
Yeah, man, these are hard to come by.
Yeah, well, I've got 2 of them.
Well, that's nothing like going to March Madness, though.
We did go to a national championship.
Okay, guys, whatever. Let's just get on the Montana party bus and head over to Press Box for lunch.
Yeah.
Nuanez Now and Skyline Sports, covering Montana athletics and the Big Sky Conference better than anybody. The Montana Party Bus and the Press Box are also proud supporters of Montana athletes.
Hey, cheers to you guys, man. Cheers to Montana. Cheers to chasing more champions.
Jewelry Design Center. We want to be your jeweler for life.
Well, when it comes to this matchup with Montana State, that I know Coach DeCure following the last one was, he gave a lot of credit to Montana State, but also said, hey, we just have to play better, right? Like, we just have to play better in this rivalry. Now that you're coming back home with the Cats coming to town, what are some of the key elements to Montana playing their best on Saturday night?
Yeah, I would agree with him. I think that they did a great job, right? Like, they have specific things they do offensively and defensively. So we have to play better, but I think you got to give them some of the credit. You look, and I remember Coach Logie said this last year about us going into one of the matchups when we had Brandon Whitney. You have a fifth-year point guard that's been through it so many times. It really provides a level of confidence and puts your team at ease, right? Like when you have someone that's been in the rivalry. And if you look at Jed Miller, I feel like he's kind of the engine that makes them go. He's having an unbelievable year, and he's just gotten better and better every year. So I think to try to we need to have someone step up and create some calm for us during the storm, because it's not going to be all sunshine and rainbows. They're a good team. They're going to make some runs. So can we have some guys that can execute when things are not going our way? I think is a huge key, because I think that's what they did last time.
Well, such a fun point guard matchup, because Jed Miller and Muddy Williams are two of the best in the conference, but they're totally different, right? They're just completely opposite players. So, and I know a lot of times they maybe aren't going to be going head to head with each other, but two guys will have the ball in their hands a lot. So what do you think of just that element of this matchup?
It's awesome. It's what makes this thing great. And you look over the 10 years here, from Tyler Hall to Harold Frey to Raekwon they've had a lot of great players. We've had a lot of great players, and that's what makes the rivalry really cool. But I think that both the guys are multiple year guys is like really awesome, right? Like when they have been in the programs for a long time, and like it means something, like the front of the jersey means something. Like you look at Money Williams, there's not a lot of guys like him in the country, really. And we're so lucky to have him. And I think that when you have two guys that in their own ways impact the game, it's like really fun to watch. So I think it's great for the conference. I think it's great for the rivalry, and I'm excited to see the next chapter on Saturday.
Well, I also wanted to ask about Tajon Sawyer, because I'm going to do a senior story on him going into Boise. But I was teasing him last week. I said, hey, we used to think of you as a transfer, but now you're like an honorary Montana, and you've actually been here for several years. So like you don't get to get classified as transfers anymore. You get to be the guy that like has been in Montana for a really long time. But you must love that he stayed and also is playing some of his best ball here down the stretch.
He's one of my favorites. I work majority with the Post. Coach Cobb said it best. He's what this is about, right? Like he went to a 4-year school and went back to junior college and came here, and he had some success as a first-year player, and then last year kind of like really took off, especially towards the end of the season. And I think it's a tribute to the program, to our coaching staff, to the guys in the team that he decided to come back. And I just could not be happier for him, because like, if you look at his development, and everyone's going to see it on the court, but it's cool that you say you're going to do a story, because I think like if you look at how he has grown as a man, it has, I'm getting chills talking about it, because like who he was when he got here is totally different than who he is when he's going to be leaving here. And a large testament goes to him of, in the transfer portal era, when a lot of things have changed, he looks in the mirror and says like, all right, like what do I got to do differently? Like how can I continue to grow? And he's allowed us to coach him. And, I think specifically post players in the Coach DeCure system, if you're about it, you can get a lot better. And he didn't get everything he wanted right away. Like we had some good post players in the conference, and he kind of had to wait his turn. He did. So I'm like so excited. Like if you look at his numbers of what he has been able to do so far in conference, it is pretty silly. I think he's shooting like 63% from the floor, scoring 14 points a game, like 45% from three. Like it is so cool for him to have the success that he's had. And honestly, it couldn't happen to a better guy, because like he's been about the team. And I think like that's how it works. When you pour into the program, it comes back to you in a major way.
It's really been fun to get to know him. Last thing for you, just on the rivalry again. I mean, obviously turnovers has been a huge key for both of these teams. So how much will that be a key, and other keys you guys are looking to just in terms of the matchup and the flow of the game that will play out on Saturday?
Colter, we could be playing the Cats. We could be playing Wisconsin. We could be playing my son's 6-year-old team. turnovers is going to be our number one. Is going to be our number one key, as I'm sure everybody knows. It's a huge thing. It's a huge thing for both teams, right? Like if you look at how many shots we can get at the basket, like our offense is pretty efficient when we can shoot the ball at the basket, but we have turned the ball over a lot, and we've worked. We've tried a lot of different things. We've harped on it. We've tried to put guys in different spots, and there are certain games that we have had more success than others. But I think if you look at the game, like how many shots both teams get at the basket is a huge key in this game and really any game. But specifically for the Grizz, like that's a huge thing going forward for the rest of the regular season and into Boise for sure.
Jay Flores, Montana men's basketball, joining us here on Nuanez. Now we got tickets for you, so keep those texts coming in. Usually we just make you text one day a week, but this is a big game, so we're gonna got to enter in 3 times, including earlier this weekend and here today. So 406-888-1029. You want some tickets to Saturday night's game? Hit us up 888-1029. Jay Flo, thanks for doing it, man. Good to talk to you.
Hey, thanks so much. I appreciate all you do. Like, it's so cool how you cover everything around here. And we're really grateful for everything that you put out there about Montana basketball, like just overall in the state and Big Sky, really overall.